Move that here. We definitely don't want that. Okay, and looks good. One I wanted to do real quick was okay. I think we should be good. All right. Okay. Hopefully, hopefully you guys can hear me. That's the most important thing. If you guys can't, let me know. All right. Before we get into the actual topics, I guess we'll do a quick update on what I got from the library, which I tend to do sometimes. So we'll do that real quick, and I'll talk about what we're going to do today, and then we'll get started. So first things first, I have... What the heck? Okay, that's weird. Anyways, I have... so we got here, this is Blood Plus, and this is Darker Than Black. I've actually seen Blood Plus before. I watched it on a free... I think it was... what is that? Hold on, let me think about it. It was called it's on it's called Sony something. Crackle, that's it. I think it was either Crackle or Manga Watch. It was like this app on the Xbox 360. I think the DVD's locked. That's so weird. I opened it this morning. Yeah, I think I somehow locked it. That's wow, that's big brain. Anywho, so that's with that. Now, what we're going to do today is we're going to go through this topic of we have this article, which is Code Geass 5 anime heroes Lelouch Lamperouge could easily outsmart and 5 he couldn't, and then we're going to go into a fun topic, which is going through Quora, and we're going to answer as many Code Geass questions as we can. That will be towards probably the second half of this video. I've wanted to do this for a while now, and I think it'd be kind of fun because I've noticed there's so many questions about Code Geass that are kind of obscure, and I figured, hey, let's do it. But anyways, we're going to start first with the article at hand, which is Code Geass 5 anime heroes that Lelouch Lamperouge could easily outsmart, and 5 he couldn't. Now, what's kind of funny, it says Lamperouge, but shouldn't say V Britannia since that's his real name, right? I mean, he's not. This is an alias, so I kind of find that to be a little humorous. Before I get into like the actual crux of the article, one problem they make here, and it's going to be prevalent, is that they only discuss one form of intelligence. Now, I've been doing a lot of research for the Light versus Lelouch, who's smarter, and one of the things I was doing research on was Howard Gardner's, and I'm going to bring this up in the video, but just to you guys a little sneak peek here. So you type in multiple intelligences. It's a theory that I think this is this the article that I found? No, this is not it. 1 second. There's a really good I think this is it. Yeah, this is a really good if you're interested in psychology, this is a very good blog. Anyways, it talks about the different types of intelligences, and the problem with this article, it only focuses on, if I was to go through this list here, logical, mathematical intelligence. It doesn't take into account body kinesthetic, musical, interpersonal, intrapersonal, naturalistic, etc. It only takes into account logic and mathematical skills, which is fine, but the problem here is if you were to compare Lelouch to, let's say, Goku, right? Could Lelouch outsmart Goku? Sure, on a math test. Could he outsmart him in a fight? No, definitely not. Even if they both had the same level of fighting experience. Goku's ability to pick up martial arts and his combat skills, that's something that Lelouch just won't have. It's his intelligence. He's kinesthetically one of the smartest characters in anime, period. They're not discussing that here. I just want to throw that out there. Like they throw obvious dumb, I'm using quote terms, dumb shonen protagonist, which I think is a little asinine. But anyhow, I just wanted to throw it out there. Let's get started. Code Geass' main character, Lelouch Lamperouge, again, it's V Britannia, is a genius. So we wonder if he could outsmart other intelligent characters from different anime. I mean, Probably. Well, we're gonna see. But and then it says here, Lelouch v Britannia. Oh my god. Ooh, oh boy. What the heck? Okay. Anyways, he's one of the most intelligent characters to be introduced in Code Geass. Don't you mean anime? Because you said here, I guess you didn't, but all right, that's true. It's weird how we're not talking about Code Geass, we're talking about the show in general. But anyway, it's fine. Lelouch showed an advanced level of comprehension even in his youth, and has always exceeded the expectation of those around him. So they're discussing that he has comprehension. So I guess reading comprehension, spatial comprehension. What kind of comprehension? We're gonna have to you guys gotta be specific here. The CBR never uses details in their arguments. It's one of the reasons why their articles are crap. I just everything I go through, it's always the same thing. Guys, just please explain what your criteria is for intelligence, and then say why he would be smarter than somebody else. That's it. That's all I ask for. It's not complicated. You can even, there's even the theory of one general intelligence. I think they're going with that one, but we'll see. Lelouch combines his natural brilliance with hard work ethic, and he saw his abilities truly blossom. With his intellect, he managed to wrestle control of the world from Britannia before supposedly dying at the hand of his best friend, as he planned. Before supposedly dying. I mean, he did die. In the original story, he died. In the alternate universe, he didn't. Although some people argue that he wasn't really dead in either one, but they only chose to bring him back in the alternative universe. I don't know if that's true or not. I've heard people discuss that as well. But yes, and they say again, hard work ethic, which is important, but that doesn't really... I mean, it is kind of intelligence, because one argument that Howard makes is that if you're really smart, but you don't use your intelligence for anything, then it's pointless, because one of the criteria for intelligence is to be able to problem solve. You have to use your intelligence to actually solve a problem. So that's why you might be academically smart, but if you don't actually use it for any purpose, it doesn't make you, it doesn't actually make you intelligent. According to that theory, anyways. All right, let's go with the first one. Number 10, Luffy. He can outsmart Luffy. Okay, disclaimer, I've never seen One Punch, haha, One Piece. So I don't know anything about Luffy's character. I don't, but here's what I'll say about him. If he is like any other typical shonen protagonist, he probably is a good fighter, not good in academic studies, and... I'm sure he's had a lot of moments where he outsmarted his opponents in battle. Like how Jonathan does in JoJo, right? So I'm not sure if that's his if that's his characteristics. Again, I have never seen One Piece. Then if we're talking about an IQ test, yes, Lelouch probably would score higher. But IQ tests are pointless anyways. But if that's what they're going with, Monkey D. Luffy is the man who will become the next Pirate King. If One Piece ever ends, it's like 1,000 episodes. Luffy is an ambitious man who always works earnestly toward achieving his goals. Luffy is an expert fighter who can overwhelm the strongest of fighters if presented in the right situation. Just say he can beat other people. Okay. All right. Despite his strength and ambitions, Luffy is not the smartest tool in the shed. Again, what do you mean by not the smartest tool? So... he often struggles to understand complex explanations that many fans doubt his ability to read. This means Luffy would easily be outsmarted by Lelouch, who has shown himself to be one anime smart protagonist. Yes, again, in an IQ test. But is that the only form of intelligence? And we don't... knowing CBR, I'm sure this is not even accurate. Complex explanations. Do you mean like the devil fruit? Is that what they use to power up the fruits? Again, I'm not a One Piece guy, but I watch a little bit of Tenking 101, so I know a little bit about like how the powers of One Piece. So I don't know if understanding that would... yeah, this is they're basically attacking a bunch of shonen protagonists in this article. If we're talking about IQ test, yes, Lelouch would probably outsmart him. If we're talking about combat, definitely not. I'm sure Luffy has other characteristics that Lelouch may not have, like interpersonal skills. I know Lelouch is good at understanding other people's emotions and motivations, but I'm sure Luffy's probably better at it. Generally speaking, most shonen protagonists, one of their abilities is to inspire people and working with them to accomplish whatever goal you wanna throw out there. And because of that, I'm sure Luffy has a a lot of whistling here. I'm sure Luffy has a better interpersonal skills. But again, I've never actually seen One Piece, so I can't say. Uh, Again, like I said at the beginning, if we're talking about academic skills, yes, definitely Luffy should be smarter. If we're talking about planning, probably too. I don't know if Luffy does any planning in One Piece. I don't know like if he's a strategist in the group, or if his brother is, or if they're even together in a group. Again, never seen One Piece. So anyhow, let's move on to the next one. Number 9, Sora from what is this called? This is depressing. I know this is called. Oh my god, what is this called? It's that famous. I hate when I mental blocks. Sora anime. What is it called? No Game No Life. Oh my god, I'm such an idiot. No Game No Life. Okay. Anyhow, Sora is an experienced gamer who acknowledged and expertise is renowned in the world. Sora is a quite adept at strategy games, which means he'd be an intriguing opponent for Lelouch in a game of chess. Sora has a genius level IQ and is known to read the body language of opponents in order to pick up on cues that might lead to his victory. He would find a hard time getting a read on Lelouch, who is known to be quiet and a cool customer. Sora's over-reliance on his sister might hinder him in a straight one-on-one match. Hinder him. Wait, what? Sora's over-reliance on his sister might hinder him in a straight one-on-one match, but he would still put up a strong fight against Lelouch. Wait. But it's not a battle, though. Okay. Again, IQ doesn't mean anything. IQ is it was created by someone to separate the stupid from the smart, and from what I understand, it doesn't predict your actual ability to do anything. In fact, theoretically, that could be the pinnacle of your intelligence, or it could be you could achieve something in the future, but it has no real bearing on anything. So the fact that he has a high level IQ is not relevant here. And so does Lelouch, if we're going to go that route, right? I mean, he aces all of his class. He doesn't even pay attention because he's too busy leading rebellion. So the way I see it, in both ways you look at it, that doesn't matter to me. Reading the body language, that's important, actually. Although I don't know how he would... He said like he couldn't read it because Lelouch is kind of a cool customer. Well, here's the thing. Is this about if they were to fight each other, or is this about if they were to outsmart each other, like on a test or something, or in school or academics? See, again, this is a very vague outsmart. Because when they discussed Luffy and they said outsmarting him, well, he couldn't beat Luffy in a fight for obvious reasons. So this obviously wasn't about hand-to-hand combat. It's just about if they played like chess or something, or a strategy game. I mean, maybe. Although Lelouch is one of the best chess players in Code Geass. I mean, he beats everyone except his brother. But that's that's a whole famous chess scene where they kind of messed it up. I think they're talking about like in a game or something. But then they say, like, a one-on-one match. I guess this is a game. So what they're arguing is that this guy has a high IQ, and it would be better than Lelouch's. But Lelouch also has a high IQ. Lelouch is also one of the best chess players in Code Geass. I know what they're talking about. His sister, I mean, why would she be relevant? I mean, I haven't seen No Game, No Life. Does she, like, get in his way? I don't know. Might hinder him if they want to match, but still... And again, it says also he would put up a strong fight, but you're saying he can't beat him. See, he can't. Now you're saying here he would put up a strong fight. No, he would win. He would win. You have to justify why he would win. You're stating here can't. No, if you're saying can't here, then you can't put a hypothetical he would put up a fight on his own. Like, I don't know. The arguments they make don't really defeat Lelouch, because Lelouch can do both of these things. Although, if this guy's interpersonal intelligence is better than Lelouch's, then maybe he's got a chance, but this is too, this is really weird. I wish they just said, like, hey, these are the characters who would outscore Lelouch in the IQ test. These are characters that would beat Lelouch in chess. I don't know, something, just be specific on what we're talking about outsmarting, because Lelouch has, he has plans where he obviously military tactics, plans to be people one-on-one, sometimes combinations of between. So you got to discuss like what do you mean by outsmarting? There's this extremely vague article, which what do you expect? And I'm sure anyone who's watched the show probably knows some of this is not even accurate, but I haven't seen it, so I can't say. Here we go. Another dumb shonen character. I'm seeing the theme here. Another dumb shonen character. I wonder how many we're gonna get before this article's over, because we can't give Lelouch someone who's smart he could outsmart by again their argument, not mine. So we gotta go through these dumb shonen characters, which they're not dumb, by the way. Itsuki Midoriya is the current bearer of the quirk One for All, having inherited from the previous wielder, Toshinori Yagi. Deku is careful and pays keen attention to detail in his daily lives. His daily life lies. Before becoming a student at the UI, Deku regularly compiled information on people, their quirks, learning from each other of the quirks he studied. This keen attention to detail carries over to Deku's fighting style, where he regularly analyzes his opponent to the most minor detail in order to achieve victory. Despite his undoubted talent, Deku is fears off from really being able to compete with Lelouch on an intellectual level. Well, what do you mean? Every item on this list is going to be the same question over again. IQ test, school, academics. What do you mean on an intellectual level? Nier was able. This is an irrelevant topic, but somewhat related. Nier was able to compete with Light Yagami, and he was way younger than him. So prodigies exist. Lelouch is a prodigy. So I don't know. Now again, if we're talking about fighting, Deku is obviously a master. Well, not a master fighter, but he's a skilled fighter. It says here that he's able to analyze his opponents to their most minor detail in order to achieve victory. The problem with this, though, is what does it have to do with fighting against Lelouch? Because, again, Lelouch relies on his mind. He's not a physical fighter. So we know that he can beat him physically. So this information, is that relevant? Because if he can analyze his opponents, he could analyze Lelouch. But again, to what means? Are we playing chess, or are we conquering the world? You guys got to specify what the context here is. Because definitely, an IQ test, definitely, Lelouch would beat most of these people on an IQ test. But again, IQ test is irrelevant. Means nothing. That's why I'm like, okay, great. And I haven't seen My Hero Academia either, so I don't know how smart Deku is, supposedly. Age doesn't really matter to me, especially when we're talking about IQ and general logical, mathematical intelligence. If we're talking about how he relates to other people, his own personal motivations, okay, we maybe will have something here, but it's so vague. All right, well, let's read some comments real quick. We got like a bunch. Okay, Lelouch can outsmart any anime hero in my somewhat biased opinion. I don't know, I think it's biased, I think it's very objective. Lelouch tends to be referred to as Lamprey in lots of things. I know, but like, you're right, but the problem is that he's referred to Lamprey in a bunch of stuff, but Lamprey is just an alias. It's like saying, could Zero outsmart these people? Or could the Evil Emperor or Julius Kingsley? No, let's just say, could Lelouch v. Britannia outsmart these people? And they, in their own article, they wrote his name correctly. So I don't know why the difference there. Lelouch could use Geass on Goku to turn him into a pacifist. Yeah, of course he could. But again, is this article about fighting, or is it about or is it about intelligence, or what kind of intelligence? Right? They haven't specified. Although I will say, with Goku and Lelouch fighting, I don't think Lelouch would have a chance to even use the Geass on him. If Goku was fighting for real, right? He actually taking it seriously. Then I think he'd probably kill Lelouch before he had a chance to do anything. Because Lelouch is a human being. The Geass is very powerful, but it's not faster than Goku. There's just no way. I'm not even gonna discuss the logic behind that. I mean, Goku could destroy a planet very early on in the show. I'm not gonna use Planet Buster. I know that I'm not gonna discuss Planet Busters. I know that Seth the programmer, he discussed that many times. And also Geekdom 101. Those are great anime channels. I'm sure you guys have subbed to both of them. Okay. Anyways, DX Code Geass. Yeah, one day we'll talk about that. One day we'll get to it. I promise you guys. One day. CBR can write many words without actually giving a point. Nano Manor, that's exactly the problem with CBR. They write many things and it means absolutely nothing. It's complete crap. Outsmart. Yeah, I don't know, an IQ test or chess or maybe in a battlefield. I don't know. They don't specify. That's the problem. mean like a puzzle? Yeah, that had to been the that was probably what they meant here, a puzzle or something, or a chess or something, or a game. Because again, you have to specify what you mean by outsmart, and CBR is about vague as anything. Production Prox, hi, hey, how you doing? AJ, I got here early for once. Yes, you did. Am I late? No, we just got started, and you know what? The way the article is, no, you're right in time. Just got awful. Nobody. Captain Gamer, not really. Light Yagami, L. Is this saying Deku can't outsmart Lelouch? No, it's saying Lelouch can't outsmart him. Because the very title says characters Lelouch could easily outsmart, and 5 he couldn't. So when they say can't or can, it means he can or can't. It's referring to Lelouch. I know, extremely vague, but yeah, that's what they're referring to. Johan, Johan can outsmart him. Yeah, probably. By the way, Johan, a spoiler alert, Johan is not on this list. So good job, CBR, for actually not listing one of the smarter characters who actually ran his own money laundering scheme when he was, what, in high school or younger than that? But whatever. Surely outsmart Lelouch because he thought she was going to give him a smooch that one time. Lelouch is a sucker for women. What can I say? I mean, he gave it to he gave it to Yuffie as well. I mean, that's just how he is. He's bad with women. Deku is quite smart, but Lelouch has shown to take more risks. Sure, and again, just specify what you mean by smarter. Taking risks, is that a sign of intelligence? That depends who you ask. I mean, how about that one scene where Lelouch is hanging off the building, right? When he was trying to get his helmet from Arthur the Cat. He almost killed himself, so Suzaku wouldn't go after the helmet, and he'd go after him, which was kind of interesting. So Lelouch does take more risks. That's very true. Is that because of experience, age? I have no idea, but that's a good point. First of all, I'm sorry. Lelouch is one of my favorite characters in all fiction. So it's hard for me to be impartial, but I think Lelouch is one of the most brilliant masterminds ever been. Yes, sir. Bless all hail Lelouch v Britannia. Yes, all hail Lelouch. Since you haven't seen One Piece, I'll say Luffy's dumber than Goku. Luffy lacks big intelligence. Lelouch can outsmart him. Well, I guess in a math test. I'm sure Luffy has defeated many powerful opponents using some kind of like weakness he figured out or exploited something. One thing I found interesting about Lelouch is that he is holding so much emotional baggage from his past that I don't think he reached his full potential till the end of R2 when he threw it all away. I mean, definitely nothing was holding him back. If you want to say that. Although at the same time, nothing was the reason why he was living. So it's like a fine line between like this girl was obviously the reason why he couldn't do certain things. I mean, if you think about it, all of Lelouch's plans had to be somewhat limited because he had to make sure nothing was taken care of. Right? They made the base in the Ashford Academy because that would keep Nolly safe, and when he left in turn 8, it was to keep Nolly safe. He always focused on her. So when he no longer cared about, well, not cared, when he believed her to be dead, then he actually changed his whole point of view. So that's an interesting point, actually. I like that. This is a joke, right? Lelouch literally took over the world. Light was smart, but failed because he wasn't motivated after L died. L could be Light, and Light is better. Lelouch, Light, 3 than L. Oh, I haven't even gotten to that. I've been working on that article, and it's going to be very interesting when we get to it. And also a video about Light versus Lelouch. Okay. Gaming wall of words. I don't want to read, but I agree. Let's see. I'm curious if Lelouch could outsmart Batman. Ooh, that's a good question. Could Lelouch outsmart Batman? I don't know. Batman has more experience than Lelouch does. I know age doesn't matter, but experience does. Batman has more resources than Lelouch. That's definitely true. Batman's a master of disguise. There's many good examples of that. He could probably sneak into the Black Knights and beat them that way. Well, let's be honest. He could recruit. Lelouch wouldn't think twice of it. I mean, at one point, the Black Knights was such a big organization that he could have easily, joined the low ranks and climbed up. Nobody would even known. So probably he could probably outsmart. I don't think Lelouch can outsmart Batman. I'm a little biased towards Batman, though. I'm gonna be honest here. He's a little. I'm a little biased, but yes. I don't think so. Lelouch takes more risk and plans out the field to fight, while Luffy jumps in and gets himself killed nearly every time. Plus, he's been shown to be an idiot on a lot of things. Yes, Lelouch can. Okay. Batman is overrated as a character. I like Red Hood more. Scarecrow is smarter than Batman. Scarecrow is smarter than Batman? That's news to me, but okay. That's definitely news to me. I never considered... The only villain that I thought were smarter than Batman was like maybe Ra's al Ghul and Joker to an extent, and what's his name? Doctor Strange, and not Doctor Strange, Jesus. Hugo Strange. I mean, he's a doctor, but Hugo Strange. And maybe Mr. Freeze? I never thought Scarecrow was smarter than Batman. Maybe there's some... Oh, and Bane. Bane was actually smarter than Batman 2 at one point. That's how he beat him originally in a Nightfall when he broke his back. Not that we're just discussing Batman, but I'm just saying he did actually... He was able to break him both emotionally and physically. Anyways, let's get into the next point. Kisuke Urahara. Can't. Kisuke can be found in the human world where he lives his days out as a simple shop owner, but he can never truly escape the shadows of his past. Urahara is one of the most gifted minds that has ever emerged in the Soul Society. He is credited with the incredible innovations that can be called on to outsmart even the wittiest of characters. Kisuke often shrouds himself in his words and is a master of twisting and turning them in order to confuse enemies, and a battle between Kisuke and Lelouch will be one for the ages with no clear winner in sight. No clear winner in sight. Can't. Guys, this isn't complicated. Just say this. It's such clickbait crap, which is what they stand for, by the way. Except I just, R doesn't have for crap, but clickbait. I don't know. I never can figure out what the R stands for in a non sexual or provocative or even just a swear word. But like clickbait, I don't know, something. Clickbait, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, 5 anime heroes Lelouch could easily outsmart, and 5 he couldn't. Are we saying he couldn't easily outsmart? Oh, I see what they did there. He couldn't easily outsmart. You clever bastards. So you're saying Lelouch could easily outsmart Kisuke Urahara, but he could outsmart him. Okay. Fair point. Here's the thing about Kisuke. It's a little unfair because Kisuke is really old. I'd say probably, I don't know, between 400 and 500 years old. If my Bleach intelligence or my Bleach knowledge comes into play, because the oldest Shinigami, I believe, is Yamamoto, who's 1,000 years old, and then Unohana, who is about 800 to 900. So I'm going to assume that Kisuke is probably a little younger than both of them. And, again, 400 to 500 years old, which was pretty good. So he has way more years of intelligence. However, Lelouch was able to outsmart C2 at some points, and C2 is 700 years old. So, therefore, Lelouch can outsmart people who are older than him by like a tenfold. Although, I don't know if C2 is smarter than Kisuke, so it's not exactly the most fairest comparison. Just throwing that out there. Okay. In terms of actually like just what they can do, who is smarter than who? One of Kisuke's best strategies was able to stop Aizen. Of course, he relied on Ichigo for his help, but he still stopped Aizen. He put Rukia into the Gigai, which drained of her powers, I believe. So I mean, he also knew about certain stuff. He kept secret from Ichigo. I'm not sure that was smart or not. His Zanpakuto is pretty powerful. Not relevant here, but something I've noticed. He worked on the Gigai. He made the Hogyoku. So he's very smart. In terms of like intelligent test, I would say probably Kisuke. He probably would do a little higher, but again, the problem with Bleach is that I don't know exactly what Kisuke is doing to come up with this stuff. They show him in a laboratory working on things. I'm not sure what area of science he's specifically using to do this, what form of mathematics he's doing. It's not very clear. I mean, I assume it's some combination of chemistry and I don't know, maybe some calculus, but I don't know exactly what he's doing to come up with this stuff. But let's assume it's those things, and he might be smarter than Lelouch. But again, they don't say easily outsmart in what means. Like if they were trying to figure out who each other was. And of course, consider the fact that Kisuke knows how to make like his Gigai duds, and so he can use that too against Lelouch. But I'm not sure if this is even like a fantasy battle or just like who would win in it in an IQ test or something. I don't know. No clear winner though. I don't think that would be the case. I don't consider Kisuke and Lelouch equal. I think if they're gonna battle, I think it'd be pretty decisive one way or the other. Um, but they don't say what kind of battle of wits we're talking about here. Like would Lelouch command troops against Kisuke? I mean, Kisuke wasn't the best leader. Look what happened with the Visors, right? That was his screw up. He nearly got his his lieutenant killed. What was her name? Snaggletooth. Hinamori? That's not it. That's not her name. I'm forgetting all the names today. Hiyori. That was close. Hiyori. That's it. Not Himori. Hiyori. He almost got Hiyori killed. At least he admitted he made a mistake, so. I think the reason why they put him up here as a really intelligent character is because he outsmarted Aizen. Which, don't get me wrong, that's pretty good considering that's the man who planned like everything. So, I guess I could see it both ways. I don't think though I don't think they're equal. It wouldn't be there would be a clear winner. Okay, that's for sure. One of them wouldn't do enough prep time, or one would know one would be outsmarted by the other. I don't think it'd be some equal battle, especially given how Kisuke has like way more experience, which could play into a factor. Oh my god. All right, another shonen protagonist that is going to get wrecked here because okay. This fight never oh my god. Number 6, Naruto Uzumaki. Lelouch can easily outsmart him. Despite never being the most academically proficient student during his time in Ninja Academy, Naruto managed to achieve his dream and become the leader of his village. Under his direction, the village blossomed, developed into a much more advanced, civilized village. Much more advanced and civilized village. You said village twice. You didn't have to do that. One that they finally knew of joy and peace. Much praise should be given to Naruto, as his leadership shows he was much smarter than people had realized. That being said, Naruto's not the brightest bulb and leads to be bamboozled by Lelouch. Okay, but again, by the way, the CBR makes it very clear what they mean by outsmart. Academically proficient. So we're not talking about any other form of intelligence, because it says here he was a good leader. And leadership takes a lot of intelligence, interpersonal skills, like I mentioned before, linguistic intelligence, being able to talk to different people, using the right words, understanding people's motivations, desires, emotions. So you say the right things to get people to do what you want, or I guess saying the wrong things would have the opposite result. So if he was to fight Lelouch and they were using strategy to command their troops and leadership, Naruto would be pretty good at that, because I mean the guy is basically Jesus in Naruto. I mean, he's able to convince anybody to stop doing what they're doing. So I think he could probably outsmart Lelouch then, because Naruto's emotional intelligence, which would be interpersonal in this case, is much better than Lelouch's. So if they were to like meet each other and Lelouch was like dead set on something, Naruto could convince him to not do it. Okay? So I am not so sure this would be an easily outsmart. It just depends what we're talking about. They go to school, yes. He can outsmart him. If we're talking about a test, or if Lelouch gave Naruto a test of some sort that was academic, yeah. Academically, yes. Other aspects, definitely not. Naruto is not even stupid. Again, with Goku, Luffy, Deku, all these characters, it's the classic case where because they're only shown fighting and they act like morons, therefore they are idiots, which is, it's all a joke, right? They're just pretending like they're not actually that dumb. You should watch them when they're in battle, and then we'll see how stupid they actually are. So, yeah, I don't know about this one. Number 5, Shikamaru. He can't easily outsmart him. Okay, that's a fair point. I don't think he could easily outsmart Shikamaru. He's the current advisor to Naruto Uzumaki, the Hokage of the village Hidden Leaf. Hidden the Leaves? No, it's called Hidden Leaf. Wow. I don't think they did their homework on this one. Yeah, these are massive spoilers of Naruto too. Whatever. I guess they assume everyone's watched the show at this point, or they don't care. Shikamaru has been exceptionally smart ever since he was young. Yep, he was the smartest guy in his ninja group there. I forgot what they're actually called. Showing a skill that far surpassed the average person. His dad was smart too, by the way. Shikamaru was exceptional strategy, and at a young age, He'd been playing shogi with his father, Shikaku. Sorry. This further developed Shikamaru's intelligence, and before long, he was a shogi master. A game of shogi between Shikamaru and Lelouch would need its own anime adaptation because it would definitely be a sight to behold as one of the closest matches of all time. Okay, so now they're saying here, they're talking about a game of shogi. Not talking about if Shikamaru could lead his troops against Lelouch's or what would happen there. But they, okay, so this is basically, he couldn't outsmart him in a game of shogi. Okay. I guess not, because apparently he's a shogi master. So, just so I want to make sure I'm clear about something. Shogi's that game with the, yeah, this is shogi, right? Okay. Yeah, I don't think Lucius even knows how to play shogi. We've never seen him play shogi before. He only plays chess. I don't think, wait, is shogi like chess? I shouldn't have closed that window. That was smart. Is this like a chess game? Oh, it's Japanese chess. Or a game of generals. It's a variant on chess. It's most popular. A king, a rook, a bishop, 2 gold generals, 2 silver generals, 2 knights. So this is very similar. Did it move the same? I don't think Lelouch plays shogi. I think some people say like I think some people say that like the chess in Code Geass follows the rule of shogi. I think that was one of the reasons why he could theoretically not check the king or make illegal moves like that. But they never make that clear. I guess they're similar enough. I guess it would be a good match. But regardless, yes, in a game of chess, he couldn't easily outsmart him. At least here they explain what they mean by outsmart, because the rest of these are vague. They're completely vague. A battle of wits, whatever the heck that means. He'd be easy bamboozled. In what way? And then here we're like, okay, if they played chess, it'd be a tie possibly. Okay, sure. Chess means nothing, but sure. As Lunge once said, stop playing these stupid games. He was talking to one of his officers obviously in the police station. They're like, hey, Lunge, he beat me in chess. And he's like, stop playing these stupid games. That was pretty funny. Okay, let's read some comments real quick. I mean, Scarecrow's brilliance is a brilliant professor, but smarter than Batman. I'm not so sure. Oh, okay, you mean academically. But even then, Batman has like, I guess we're going to this level. If you look at Batman, let's see. Do they have like his background? I believe he has like a degree in a bunch of different things like chemistry and mathematics, and like Batman's very well rounded. Do they have his these darn ads? Abilities. Let's see. Okay, I don't care how strong he is. What's up with his intelligence? Mixed martial arts, expert, marksman, a master spy, a master escape artist, genius level intellect. Batman's IQ is over 200. Okay. A scientist, tactician, and commoner. He's well regarded as the keenest analytic minds on the planet, given his lack of superpowers. Okay, but what is the actual... Okay, here we go. He studied biology, technology, mathematics, physics, mythology, geography, history. He gained degrees in criminal science, forensics, computer science, chemistry, and engineering by the time he was 21. What the heck? He has a master diverse environmental training, security systems, and illusion slate by the time he was 23. He gained even more degrees in biology, physics, advanced chemistry, technology by the time he was 25. He learned forensics, medical science, expanded computer engineering science, and expanded device pool, use of personal powered armor and system, database creation, underworld crime boss, rogue, gallery foes, and other improved material science. By the time he was 26? Oh my god. Batman must have like 1,000 degrees. That's ridiculous. I think about my life and I'm 30 and I only have 1 degree. And this guy has like, he had like 10 before I was even 30. Oh my god. Yeah, I don't think he, spoiler alert, I don't think Scarecrow's smarter than him. Just FYI, I don't think so. Okay. And continue on here. Scary thought, Lelouch is the Joker. Yes, that would be kind of scary. It molded me. That's funny. Could Lelouch and Light outsmart Batman together? No. Come on. Batman outsmarts... How many times does Batman outsmart 2 people? Like, he's defeated the Riddler and the Joker, like, together. So, I don't think so. And Riddler, by the way, he's not an idiot. Enigma, he's no. First of all, Lelouch and Light wouldn't work together. But let's say they did hypothetically. Probably not. Look, Batman is OP for like one of his when it comes to humans, human on humans, Batman is OP. Obviously, against Superman, that would be a different fight altogether. Where Light and Lelouch clearly have, they're also prodigies, but they have more limits than Batman does. I mean, Lelouch is smart, but he doesn't have that many degrees. And same with Light Yagami. He outsmarted her by putting a gun to his head. Yep, that's right. That's how he outsmarted C2. That's true. Lelouch could outsmart Sora, even in chess, because he's calm, and apparently there was a video on 10 smart heroes, and Lelouch is apparently smarter than Sora. Was that made by VinTubes? I wonder who made that video. But it's higher mid difference. Naruto has been shown to be a smart leader. Plus, even as Hokage, he's not that smart. But I do agree Naruto is not an idiot. He's not shown to be a smart leader. Well, I mean, I haven't watched Boruto and never plan to, of course, because it's crap, from what I understand. But he was able to keep the village going together because, again, because the thing about Naruto, as I said before, he's not academically brilliant. I mean, there's one scene in Shippuden. It's not a major thing, but he was trying to figure out some kind of move, and I was watching. I'm like, dude, if you need to do two things at once, just make a clone and do it. And I was like scratching my hair at the time when I had some, and I remember when he actually did it, I was thinking, God, was that so complicated? Actually, even more interesting than that was, I believe it was Kakashi who said, like, hey, I could be at two places at once, and he cloned himself. And I was like, oh my God, you can clone yourself. And I'm like, yes, Naruto, you can clone yourself. So I will admit that Naruto isn't always the sharpest tool in terms of certain elements. Like maybe his certain things come slower to him than others, but again, he's a great communicator, motivator. He can do things that some of the past Hokages couldn't. Just saying, there's more intelligence than just an IQ test. Anyways, CBR, One Piece is bad, sure. Well, at this point, the writers should have put themselves on the list as Can, obviously. Read the link. I put a guess who they say smarter than Shikamaru. Oh, are you talking about this link? G2G gotta go. Dinner. Have fun, everyone. Thanks AJ for popping in. Appreciate it. All right. Now we're done with that. Let's continue on after Shikamaru. Arslan. That's wrong. Arslan. Who the heck is this? I don't have no idea. Let's type it in. I don't know who this is. Heroic Late Ages of Arslan. Okay. What's his intelligence? Wait, is this even a guy? I didn't even look at the gender. I wasn't paying attention. Male. Okay. 14, huh? Okay. They don't really say much. What is this show? Arslan? Heroic Legend of Arslan. I've never heard of this. Is this even an anime? Let's go to the Holy Mail to find out what this is. It is an anime. It came out in like 95? Was it like a sequel? Alternate version? Okay, well to say because like the image there is really nice. Like I really doubt they took images they used from this. This is like ugh. I'm just kidding. It's actually pretty good for its time, but you know what I mean. Like yeah. Alright, so let's go back here really quick. So no CBR, I mean Malice, what are you doing here? Okay. When did this come out? The thing that's random about this choice is that like this is of all characters I would think about Lelouch versus anyone in intelligence. I wouldn't think of is Arslan this like really brilliant strategist? I'm reading the spoilers about this character and I don't get it. Let's see. He's a same throughout. He's fragile, weak body. He's considered a weakling. Okay, that's great. So like Lelouch is also a weakling too. He's effeminate. I don't care. What about his intelligence? Gentle and empathetic. That's good. Despite his naivety and benevolence, young prince is intelligent and has physical strength to hold his own in battle. Okay, but what about like what's he done? Relationships. It doesn't say anything. This is such a random decision, choice. Okay. Anyways, Arslan is the crown prince of Pars, a kingdom taken over by the enemy after its king Andragoras was cunning, betrayed by one of his trusted advisor. Arslan is a young man determined to change the world for the better, no matter how dangerous it might be for him. Arslan is surrounded. Oh God, look at that one yet. Arslan is surrounded by trustworthy advisors in the shape of Daryun and Narsus. They've both helped him to grow, not only as a person, but as a warrior and a battle tactician. Arslan shows much promise for the future, but as for Lelouch, keep down with him. What do you mean promise for the future? You said earlier, where was it? High IQ, right? Does this guy have a high IQ? And even then, does that matter? This is so stupid. Like, saying that Lelouch can outsmart this character is absolutely meaningless because you haven't specified what this guy could do in relation. Like, oh my God. I'm not saying this guy's even an idiot. I don't even know him, like, as a character, but, like, this is so stupid. Like, here, let me give you an example real quick. If I go to Code Geass as an anime, and I go to the recommendations, so let's go to that really quickly. So here's the shows that it's commonly referred to. Now, we have No Game, No Life, which is fine. But you got Double O, which there are a lot of smart characters in Double O. You have Legend of Galactic Heroes, Gurren Lagann, Ninjas Evangelion, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Darker Than Black, Akima Got Kill, right? Eureka 7, Full Metal Panic, and the list goes on. The point is, you notice you don't see Arslan on here? You want to know why you don't see Arslan on here? Or that's not what it's called. It's called, oh my God, I was just looking at it. Oh my God. That's how memorable this has been. I forgot where it was from. I forgot the guess. Legend of Arslan. You don't see that here because people don't associate the show as being somewhat similar. Now, these shows have main protagonists or villains who are quite intelligent. And so it might be a good, like, battle of wits. For example, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, and spoiler alert, they don't put any character from Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood on here, but you could have put Edward Elric. That'd be a good fight. Who's smarter, Edward Elric or Lelouch? They're both childhood prodigies. They both accomplished pretty impressive things for their age. They both clearly outsmarted most of the adults in their series. Both mastered their abilities. Both have nice hair. Not that it matters. But the point is, like, you pick, like, this is like low-hanging fruit. You can go to any show and just pick, like, the dumbest characters and be like, yeah, he could outsmart them. Like, well, sure, but was it ever in question in the first place? At least with some of our characters on this list, specifically Shikamaru, Kisuke, and Sora, okay, fine, I get it. They're supposedly intelligent characters, makes sense. But with this particular one, I just don't know. And as I said before, these are all low-hanging fruit. Picking protagonists, pick actual people he could easily outsmart that are not just a bunch of, yeah. I don't know. I've never seen a show before. It's extremely obscure. You could have picked literally anything, and you chose that. These are the shows I would have pulled from. Oh God, Cross Angie. Even Attack on Titan, Eren Yeager. Could Lelouch easy outsmart Eren Yeager? Why wouldn't they put that on there? I would have loved to read that. Knowing them, they mess it up, but so stupid. Even whatever. All right, here we go. Here's the controversy. All right. Number 3, Light Yagami. What is this? The letter L? Yes, the letter L. Anyways, Light Yagami. Lelouch couldn't easily outsmart Light. All right. Fair point. They're both pretty smart. Let's read it further. After obtaining the Death Note, Light Yagami plans to become the god of this new world and begins eliminating criminals. I should get a Death Note. You can buy that, by the way. They don't work, of course, but you can buy a mock Death Note. I might get one. Someone actually in my office has a Death Note. It's kind of cool. It actually has all the rules too. It's pretty good. It's like the monster book I have. It was a nice recreation. Anyways, after obtaining the Death Note, Light Yagami plans to become the god of the new world. So, ready? Eventually, the police catch wind on Light's actions and begin to close on him. No, they never do. Light was the police. No, no, you mean the SPK. You don't mean the Japanese police. Oh, man. Oh, God. Guys, that's not what happened. They never got close on him at all. He had them on his finger. Oh, no, 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 no. Okay. From that point on, it's a big mental, physical battle between him and investigators on the case. No, no, no. It's just Light versus L and Light versus Mello and Nier. That's it. No one else could touch Light. No one else tried to touch Light, if you know what I mean. And, no, I'm just kidding. But the point is, from the show point of view, it was Light versus L, Light versus Mello and Nier. That's it. No one else was actually even close to stopping him. He never stopped. And physical battle? There was no physical battle. He wasn't fighting the police force. That would have been hilarious. Can you imagine? Imagine watching the intro with the cops. You know, bad boys, what you gonna do? And you see the cops chasing after Light Yagami. Bad boy, what you gonna do when you write people's name in the Death Note? They come for you. What you gonna do? Man, it'd be funny if someone took the end credits of not end credits, the last scene of Death Note, and it shows Light running away, and you play the internet cops, and then you see them all you see them all chasing after him. Bad boys, what you gonna do? But in all seriousness though, like, it wasn't a battle between him and the investigators. It was a battle between him and like 3 other people, and not even at the same time. You see this face he's making? This is him through most of the show because everyone else is boring and uninteresting and dumb. So, God. Well, you know what's funny too? They put L on this list later on. So they're not stupid. This person knew that Light and L were fighting against each other. So how do you make a mistake like that? The rest of these I can see a quick Wikipedia search, but this person clearly knew something, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. Anyways, let's just finish this point, and I gotta take a quick break. But anyways, let's see. From that point on, like I said already, all throughout Death Note, Light has shown himself to be insanely smart, even though he made glaring errors along the way. Glaring, I wouldn't say glaring. It's more like over-calculations, you know, like when he came with the whole plan with getting his memories back, there were some clear things that could have gone wrong. I wouldn't say those were glaring errors. It's more like, you know, stroking your own ego, or maybe putting too much, like there are a bunch of possibilities of what could have happened, and Light put all of his eggs in one basket. The glaring errors he made was more towards the second half of the show, and that was because they wanted to make Light become an arrogant prick, who would, an arrogant and a careless prick. That's why he killed the director, and that was so stupid. Like that's the first thing that happens in the second half. Once he's kidnapped, he kills the director, and that gave away his whole position. It was, that was so stupid. So along the way, more like the second half of the show. The first half, he was pretty calculative, smart, and he followed everything clearly. Second half, he did make some glaring errors, but it also depends too. Like an average person probably wouldn't have picked up on this, but because Mello and Nier are, because Mello and Nier are both really smart characters, they considered glaring errors. Most people would not have. Anywho, a battle between Lelouch v. Britannia. Don't you mean Lamperouge? Come on, guys. You said Lamperouge at the top here. Let's go back to the top. You said Lamperouge. Now you're saying v. Britannia. Guys, just like, all you have to do, like, I'm going to show you guys something that's really creative. If you ever have problems with this, okay? All you have to do is just do Control F and type in Lelouch. And then you can see which name you picked. You see? You can find all the ones you did. You can do v. Britannia. You see how easy that was? You didn't have to have a spelling mistake, like, not spelling mistake, a weird inconsistency like this. And if you're trying to do rank well for SEO, I can tell you that I'm pretty sure that Lelouch v. Britannia ranks higher. We can type it in and see what comes up. Lelouch. Let's see. V. Britannia. Oh, what a surprise. It's the first thing that comes up. Then it has Lamperouge, and then it has V. Britannia. Oh, well, one of my videos. Nice. Okay. V. Britannia. V. Britannia. I think V. Britannia is searched more than Lelouch. Now, I have like a little thing I use for SEO. It's not here, but I'm pretty sure that's searched more. Not relevant. I'm just like confused. Anyhow, a battle between Lelouch and, oh my god, one more time. A battle between Lelouch v. Britannia and Light Yagami would see the two and two of the anime's renowned geniuses go head to head, but Light has the edge. Um, how? How does Light have the edge? Can you explain to me how he has the edge? That's a very bold statement. How? You didn't say anything remotely about Light's intelligence compared to Lucius. I have a lot to say. I have 18 pages worth of article that I've been editing. I got to the first 9 today, okay? So I have a lot to say about their intelligence. They've said nothing. And they don't even say what they mean by, yeah, this is ridiculous. Light has the edge. Okay, how do you know? How would Light have... Okay, real talk here. How does Light have the edge, but between Kisuke and Lelouch, it would be like no clear winner? If Kisuke is smarter than Lelouch or equal, then he's definitely smarter than Light Yagami. So if you're gonna like go that route, then it'd be equal if these guys were to face off. And I do believe that if they had took a IQ test, Light and Lelouch would probably score somewhat near the same, because they're both academically brilliant people. I know Light is a prodigy in his own right, honor roll student, and Lelouch would be if he cared, but he's more interested in making better work for not only he doesn't really care about his academic studies. It's not relevant, but if he did care, though, he probably would be like honor roll too. I just find this whole thing funny because it's most of this point has nothing to do with if they were to face off, and even some of it is completely inaccurate. So. Oh my god. This is so stupid. Like, at least just this one line, it's like a little sucker punch. And by the way, they're both really smart characters. If they fought, Light would have the edge. Mic drop. You want to state why they'd have the edge? Nothing. Absolutely nothing. Yeah, I gotta take a quick break. I will be right back. Don't go anywhere. Be right back. Okay, we should be back here. Let's read the comments real quick, and then I guess we'll move on. All right. CBR made an article on characters smarter than Shikamaru, and they said Lelouch can easily outsmart him. Oh my god, they did? I'm looking it up right now. But here's the thing, though. You gotta understand. If it's a different writer, then it doesn't count, because while it's a contradiction within their own CBR verse, whatever the heck that means, uh, wait a minute, though. Hold on. Oh, I spelled his name wrong. I'm an idiot. But I can't believe they actually did that. Hold on. I'm actually going to entertain this. This is hilarious. They actually did that. You know what would be really funny? If they actually linked the article in this point to, like, really... Oh, my God. CBR and contradictions, like, go together. You know, like love and marriage. Like, love, marriage, and horse and carriage. Okay. Where is it? Oh, I have to... Okay, I gotta look more detail. Okay. Outsmart. Let's see. Are these Naruto characters? I don't think this is it. These are Naruto characters. Let's go back. 9 characters who could eat. That's the one I see. Let's see. Shikamaru, Outsmart. So I can find it. 9 Naruto characters. Naruto best use of intelligence. Death Note, 5 characters. Light Yagami could easy outsmart. I don't see it. Was it Screen Rant? I don't. Hmm. Jeez. I don't see it. But you'll have to either maybe I mean I'm getting the name wrong, but I can't find the I can't find the one you're referring to. I mean I don't see here. They only have the Naruto one. Maybe it's called something different than what we're thinking. Maybe it's intelligence, not outsmart. Maybe I can't find it. Let's see. Shiki. I keep saying his name wrong. Shikamaru. Okay, let's say intelligence maybe. I don't know. I'm not finding it. If you figure out what it's called, I can look it up. I'm not seeing it in here. Anywho, Lelouch could outsmart the Netflix version of Light. I think a dry coat of paint could outsmart the Light from the Netflix version. Oh my God, Sierra's a joke. Absolutely. In the second half, Light was making dumb moves to get with Mikami, and even Nier and Iwanazawa knew he was Kira. Yeah, that's the thing about the second half of Death Note. Pretty much everyone knew he was Kira. It wasn't like the only reason why they didn't, arrest him because they wanted to like get definitive evidence. But there was a time where basically everyone knew he was Kira. It was like a joke. That whole meeting in the warehouse, it was a joke. They knew what was up. You're absolutely right. They absolutely did because Light was extremely careless. Again, the first thing he did, he killed the director, and he immediately gave himself away because they're thinking, okay, where did they get the information up from that he was kidnapped? And apparently they said, oh, the police leaked it. But let's be honest here, these people knew about a Death Note. What do you think they're going to suspect if the person died? Maybe you killed them? I mean, I know Light didn't know who Mello and Nier were, but he knew they knew about a Death Note, which means they had inside information about what was going on. So Light did not think that one through. Like that was a start of like a series of terrible decisions made by Light Yagami. That might actually be a fun video to talk about. The rise and fall of Light Yagami. Anyways, in the second, I said already, Lelouch could not beat Light in R1, but late R2, I think he could definitely, for the reason I said earlier. It really depends on a lot of factors. And you also got to consider the fact, too, that Light and Lelouch do different things with their intelligence. They do different things in the shows in general. I mean, Light spends most of his time trying to outsmart like one person. Lelouch spends his entire time trying to outsmart like an entire army. Right? They're focusing on two different things. That's why Lelouch wasn't even aware that what's her name? Valletta and Jeremiah were even investigating about his Geass power or who he was or any of that stuff. He was not aware of any of it because he was too focused on the strategy as a whole, trying to conquer a country. Where all Light had to focus on was just L and the Japanese police force. So for him, it was much easier to focus on little things like Ray Pember, stuff like that. Yeah, he was trying to make the world a better place, but he was just killing people. I mean, from the comfort of his own home. Lelouch was not destroying Britannia from the comfort of his own home. He was out there in the battlefield every freaking time. So Lelouch literally lived a double life. And all Light did was he just simply had an extracurricular activity when he wasn't in school. So it's a big difference between the two characters when you're talking about like who would win a fight. That's one thing I get so annoyed about because it's different. Like if all Lelouch had to worry about was just Suzaku Kurorugi and no one else, he probably would have noticed the fact that Valletta and Jeremiah were looking into his Geass power. He wouldn't have been fooled by Shirley. He did try to look into it after what happened at Port Yokosuka, but the point is, he was surprised to see Shirley there in the first place. Light wouldn't have been, because Light was, more focused on the little things. Lelouch wasn't. That's one of his biggest weaknesses. But considering the scale of Code Geass, it makes sense. He wouldn't be focusing on that. Or as they said in the Code Med, who the heck is Shirley? But that's why it's so hard to compare the two characters in a fight, because what they're doing in their situation, it's completely different. That's why it's a tough comparison. But people make it anyways, and I get really annoyed by that, because I watched, you hear this complaint all the time, right? I watched Code Geass. I just finished Death Note, and Lelouch is a moron because his plans are nothing like Light's, and I was expecting Light to be like Lelouch, and I'm like, no, they're different characters, guys. You go into Code Geass, do not expect Light Yagami. If you're watching Death Note from Code Geass, don't expect Light to be like Lelouch. They are two different characters. That's not a fair comparison. I've argued with so many people on Reddit about this. That is not a fair comparison. Lelouch is a very smart character. Does he go through every single detail of his plans? No. That doesn't mean he's an idiot. Man, so many of those complaints. And to be fair, sites like Mal are responsible, because what's the first thing that comes up when you look at Code Geass recommendations? Death Note. Even though they share similarities, but they are very different shows. Very different shows. And it's kind of irritating. Even these things they mention are very different aspects. Like Death Note is a crime drama, and Code Geass is it's a war story. It's just whatever. Anywho, I'm not sure why I'm ranting about this, but we'll continue on here. A Lelouch/Light crossover would be cool. I guess so. I'm not sure what they'd be doing, but besides, I guess, finding ways to work together, that'd be kind of scary, actually. Yes, it would be the best anime crossover between a brilliant anti-hero and a brilliant villain. Yeah, they are. At least you call him villain. Some people think Light's an anti-hero. Those people are wrong. It wasn't made by another writer, so yeah, it doesn't count. It wasn't, yeah. The CBR is completely inconsistent. I've read articles about Code Geass that are completely contradictory about about C2 and Colin. Like some articles say Colin's great, and some say she's awful. So it's, it is what it is. I still think, though, I guess kind of support your claim, I would say that at least CBR should stay consistent. Like if you have an editor, he should go through the article, or he or she, whoever, go through the article and say, okay, you're stating here that Light Yagami or whatever could outsmart, Lelouch could outsmart Shikamaru. But now you're saying he couldn't, or not easily. Now, granted, when that article came out, was it before or after this one? You gotta look into those things too. But CBR doesn't fact check anyways. And how can you when half it's opinionated anyways? All right. Light has to fight the cops, while Lelouch has to fight Empire that rules the third of the world. Yeah, exactly. It's a big difference. That's why, again, you can't. That's why things slip through the cracks when it comes to Lelouch versus Light Yagami or something like that. Because it's different. Okay, come on. The comparisons are there, but when you're, that's why the Light has the edge. It's so stupid, because what are you talking about? In what context? The load, yes. As I said before, Light is changing the world from the comfort of his bedroom. Lelouch is out there literally in the war zone, in the front lines fighting. Big difference, guys. Big difference. I think Lelouch would have done better with the Death Note, though. Death Note thoughts. Yeah, probably. I mean, Light was an idiot. He just wrote names drastically. He wasn't. The only time Light started caring about who he wrote in the Death Note at all, or I should say Death Note usage, was when L was on to him. Lelouch is actually a little more cautious about the Geass use than I think Light is with the Death Note, and that's because Geass can only be used once. Granted, the Death Note can also only be used once because the person dies, but I think Lelouch probably would have been. But granted, if Lelouch had a Death Note, the story would be over it'd be over the day of. He just write, Charles Z. Britannia, I guess Clovis La Britannia, Schneisel L Britannia, I think his name is. He would write all the name down, and everyone just dies. It'd be such a fast story. Because in Code Geass, Lelouch knows who his enemy is early on, and the guy doesn't know that Lelouch would have a power to, quote unquote, write people's in the Death Note, so he would have no reason to hide his name and face. And even if Charles did hide his name and face, it's too late. Lelouch already knows who he is. Whereas when Light started writing the names of the Death Note, L was not even a character or liked to know he was a thing or even cared to know he was a thing. So it's hard to say for sure. If you argue that somehow Charles knew about the Death Note, but even then, yeah, if Lelouch had the Death Note, Code Geass would have ended in like 2 days. What is Code Geass about? Jeez, what is it? God, that's $1 million question. What is it about? It's about a man and his journey. No, it's a young boy, the Prince of Britannia, with 3 goals. He must create a world where him and Nelly can live in peace. He must avenge his mother's death, and he must destroy Britannia. All in that order. He gets the power of Geass, the ability to control anyone and tell him what to do. And that's basically Code Geass in a nutshell. He's simply going against the royal family to make a better world for Nelly because they are currently being hunted by the royal family. They live in hiding in Ashford Academy because the family there took them in. And it looks like we have the article's name. That's what Code Geass is about in a nutshell, if you want like a quick summation. He uses like military tactics, like the uniting of the see, they're freaking same company. The Black Knights and it's extremely complicated, but that's basically nutshell. He's leading a rebellion to destroy the world, to make it new for Nelly, so they can live happier together in peace. Because Nelly wants a gentler world. That is it. Okay. It's called Heroes Who Can Outsmart. This must be let's see something. Heroes Who Can Outsmart Shikamaru? I'm still not seeing it. I must be an idiot. Oh, first I spelled his name wrong because it's Shikamaru. There we go. Five anime characters like could outsmart. 9 characters who could each outsmart Shikamaru, but that's pretty sure this is Naruto only, right? I think we just looked at this one. Yeah, okay. It's not that one. I think I'm going on like a wild goose chase here. I'm still not seeing it. I must be like out of my mind. I'm not seeing it. I'm not saying it. Here, we'll just type this in. I'll just type his name in and see what comes up. I'll go through all their painstaking articles. Okay, there's similar 5 more powerful anime slackers. He almost faced sexual harassment. What the hell? 10 characters are like Shikamaru. He'd lose to, or okay, there's this one. Stronger than Shikamaru. He would outsmart him. Characters that are stronger than Shikamaru. Why Sasuke could be a better Hokage. Here's some facts about Shikamaru. Art Tom. Oh, I think this is it. I found it. I think this is it. Maybe? No? Yeah, this is it. Okay. Alright, we found it. Okay. So this is 5 anime characters who are smarter than Shikamaru. It was written by Suzel Ahmed in 2019. Okay, so this came out before, so no excuse. Uzumaki, Vegapunk? Oh, One Piece. I was like, who the heck is that? Light Yagami smarter than Shikamaru. Okay. Not smarter. Josuke. Probably not. Joseph is definitely smarter. Joseph is smarter than everyone. Goku. Of course not. Lelouch. Lelouch's biggest weapon is intellect. Oh, he's easily above Shikamaru. Oh my god, I think you're right. Because it says, what does it say here? It says he wouldn't easily. It would definitely be a sight to behold. But again, this is about... Alright, I'm going to defend CBR. I apologize, but I'm going to defend them. They're talking about chess. If they played chess, who would win? And here, they're talking about in his skills. So we have skills versus chess. Both these people are morons. Like, not the characters, the writers. In this picture, though. Alright, I found it. Thank goodness. Okay. Very strange take on that. All right. I think Lelouch would have waited on Charles to find out who killed his mother. I think he could have killed all the Nightmare pilots first, then the nobles. He could have used the Death Note to tell Charles who killed his mother. He could say, "Before you die, Charles, I want you to go on the television set and publicly announce who did what, or send me a letter, or do something to indicate what happened." Because you can control people before they die with the Death Note. So he could have done something of that nature. Yeah, I don't think he would have. Maybe. I guess maybe he would just kill everyone and get to Charles. That could have worked too. Fair point. Imagine his surprise when he can't kill V2. All right. Here we go. Number 2. Shin. From what? Is this Kingdom? I guess this is Kingdom. Shin is a charismatic and hot-blooded young warrior who aspires to one day be the greatest general in China. His headstrong and demeaned nature means that he's always in with. He is always in with a chance of. Does that make sense? In with a chance? Maybe. Getting the best of his opponents. Despite being a great warrior himself, Shin struggles significantly with battle strategies and tactics, putting him at a great disadvantage when faced off against an opponent like Lelouch. Lelouch is a master of strategy who can turn the slightest advantage into a landslide victory. I think this is guys from Kingdom, but I have no idea. I'm gonna type in Kingdom. The art style reminds me of Kingdom. I've never seen it, but that's what's his name? Shin. You know, first name Peter, and last name Peter. Great. That's not all I was asking. Kingdom. Is this it? Is this the same guy? Shin? I guess so. Here, let's do one more like image search. Hopefully nothing weird comes up. I think that's him. I think that's him. Okay. Great. I've never seen Kingdom. You could have picked Ein from they should have put Ein on this list from Cowboy Bebop. He could easily outsmart Ein, you know, the dog. This list, you know, at first when I looked at it, I was like, oh, they might actually make this interesting. But all they have done this list is simply stated, hey, here are 5 characters that Lelouch could easily outsmart, and here's 5 that he'd have a problem with. So basically, you haven't made anything. There's no definitive statements here. It's like, how do I put this? You've said nothing in this article. There we go. Done. You've said absolutely nothing. Because you're like, okay, he could outsmart some of these. He could outsmart all these characters, or he would have a problem outsmarting them. That's all this list is in a nutshell. It's pretty dumb. But again, picking Shin is like, you could have picked anybody. You could have made this list a bunch of animals from different shows. He could outsmart them too. You have to specify, like, if I was going to do this list, I would pick characters who are somewhat like Lelouch, but a little lower level. This guy is not like Lelouch. They said, at least according to their understanding of his character, which I would take that with a grain of salt. But apparently he's not good with tactics or strategy. So why would he face off against Lelouch? I mean, like, it's a little bizarre. At least with some of the other characters who couldn't. Again, I don't know this person. But, like, this one, God, Naruto's not that smart. Well, he's not that dumb either. It's, I don't know. I would have picked better characters. It just seems kind of random. All right, number 1. L. L is renowned as one of the smartest anime characters of all time due to his role in the Death Note during Death Note series. There's actually, I read this up. There's an alternative book. It's a novel, and apparently L actually beats Light. I've never read it before, but I want to now because I want to see how they work that out. So he actually does outsmart Light in this version. Anyways, L is a popular detective who was tasked with investigating the mysterious serial killer Kira. After working on the case for some time, L theorized that Light Yagami is, in fact, Kira, and goes about trying to expose this truth. L showed incredible perception and deductive skills, and were it not for complex mechanisms of the Death Note, luck too, and magic, L would have cornered Light far sooner than he managed to. He never did. Well, I guess towards the end. Um, L and Lelouch are two reserved characters, but if the two were to compete, they would go on to develop a concrete rivalry due to their similar levels of intellect. Similar? I don't know. Lelouch doesn't really show much detective skills in the same way L does. I don't know about that. I don't know about similar. Again, we're not talking what kind of intelligence. I assume they mean deductive and logical because both characters are they're pretty good at that sort of area. But when it comes to other elements, I don't know. This would be very interesting for sure in terms of who's smarter between L and Lelouch. It's hard to say for sure because L's greatest strength as a detective is he can get into people's he can figure out what people are thinking. That's how he outsmarted Kira many times in the story. He can get into the minds of the people he's going after. Lelouch doesn't really do that type of psychoanalysis. He is able to predict people's he understands people's emotions and can predict their actions. For example, he knew what Schneizel would say, and he made a video response in advance because of that. He knew what Mao would say, again, video response in advance. Not that he predicted every single word for word, which someone made a claim about, but rather he knew what their motivations and what their desires were, so he knew how to tailor his conversation to evoke a certain emotional response. Granted, most of it was just him getting the person to kind of get themselves away or to stall for time, which is another thing he does too with the videos. So he does put himself into the mind or into the heads of others. Or no, put himself into that person's mind to figure out what they're doing. Not literally, obviously. But to say he is smarter than I don't know, or who would be smarter? It's a good question. It's a very good question. I would kind of put in I gotta think about it. I definitely agree though. Lelouch couldn't easily outsmart L, although it depends what the context is. Um, People compare Light and Lelouch as the same character. If we go with that logic, then I guess so. Overall, as I said before, his article said absolutely nothing. It pretty much was just a combination of, okay, let's pick some dumb characters that Lelouch could obviously outsmart in an IQ test, and 5 characters who are similar intelligence to Lelouch, and therefore he would have a hard time with them, intellectually speaking. Even though I think some of his characters on this list who they claim wouldn't give him a hard time, I think could. It just depends on the context. I think that's all I have for this article. We can look at some comments real quick. I think Lelouch would have waited for Charles. Okay, no comments there. All right. All right, so now we're done with this article. We're going to do the next activity, which is Code Geass FAQs. So what I've done is I have a little tab for Quora. We're going to go through all these questions, and we're going to answer them. Because why not? There's a lot of them, and I'm curious to see what you guys think. It's a pretty long list of stuff. It just keeps going. And we're going to answer as many questions as we can. Maybe we'll do this every single week until Geass R3 code comes out. We'll answer questions because why not? All right, here we go. First question. When is Code Geass R3 going to be released? All right, so it looks like someone updated it recently, and there was a confirmed release date. Let's see what the person said. There's going to be R3. The story ended at R2. The only reason why there was an R2 instead of the one continuous series is more production side and actual story. Second half, how they went about Code Geass and Gundam 00, which two of the biggest IPs. Okay. Here's what we know about this, by the way. When is R3 coming out, right? R3, whatever the heck that means. It's not actually called R3. So Z of the Recapture, there's supposed to be a announcement. And I believe it's this month. There's supposed to be some kind of announcement for this month when it comes to Z of the Recapture. So hopefully we're going to find out this month. Well, when they bring out what's it called? Geass R3 code, we're going to know right away when this is coming out. I read somewhere next year, which makes sense because remember with the announcement, there was like one image. All we got was this one image here. That was it. So they haven't done anything with the story yet. So my prediction would be probably next year. So we gotta wait a whole nother year to get this stupid show out. So we can get like a Char ripoff. Just kidding, that's probably Jeremiah. Suzaku or Akito. I don't know who this is, and this is probably some immortal character. Maybe it's C2 with a wig on. But yes, we don't know much. I love these articles, but they keep popping up about when the third season is coming out, and they don't actually tell you anything important. This is like the kind of thing where people are just posting stuff to get clicks, but when you actually read, like, the story explained how Lelouch is alive, which, by the way, that might not even be relevant to anything, because Lelouch may not even be in the story. I know it takes place after Lelouch of the Resurrection, but it doesn't mean the story is about Lelouch. It could be a brand new character in a brand new setting. We don't know anything. So the fact you're talking about Lelouch being resurrected is kind of funny to me. I'm not even going to read this whole thing, but poetic justice, that's not how I would have called that. Just reading everything they do about this. Even conspire for Lelouch's return and get memories. Okay, what about... This is about the film. See, there's nothing here. There's nothing here. We'll have to wait to find out what it is. Yeah, look at this. I love this. You go through a whole article, right? And it says here, unfortunately, anime fans will have to wait until Zeta Capture release date. Stay tuned. So the very first thing says what? What's the article? What's the title? Recapture release date in 2021. See what it says here? This is such crappy clickbait. It says release date in 2021. You go to the very bottom. Wait, make sure I got this right. Yeah, confirmed. Release date sequel. You go to the bottom, and what does it say? It says release date, well, we don't know. We'll have to wait until the release date. We don't know, though. So you said we didn't know, and we don't know. Confirmed. Nothing's been confirmed, guys. Nothing. Okay. I think August we'll get an announcement. We're definitely getting Geass R3 code. I'm very excited about that because I've wanted to play the game for so long now. Especially on here for you guys. But anyhow, any comments here? Oh my gosh, so here. Apparently, starting in October 21, the creators will rebroadcast the original series. It's all part of the 10-year project. Yeah, I don't know, like, I read up on that, and apparently the only difference is they're going to change the intro and the outro music, which is cool and all, but I don't know what the significance is. Are they adding new scenes? I doubt it. These are the same people who tried to make a alternate universe, and instead of actually remaking, FMA or Code Geass, some new version, they had to just take certain scenes and add new ones to them. So I sincerely doubt that they're going to put much effort into a re-airing. More likely, this is just going to be some fan servicey stuff. Or maybe there's going to be an Easter egg. Look, I'll be checking out the footage. I want to see what they're going to do with the intro, but I don't have any... I don't think it's going to tell us anything. I don't see how they could do a third season of Code Geass unless it's much shorter than the other 25. Unless it's much shorter than the other 25 episodes. After all, Lelouch's arch enemies have already been defeated. I mean, you can always find ways to keep the story going. The problem is you don't want to fall into like the Boruto category where you're just making stuff to make stuff. So it's a fine line. There are definitely things that have not been. There are areas that need to be explained. Kind of like how the Bleach 1,000-year blood arc was important because we didn't know anything about Ichigo's father's past, Squad Zero, and so they explained that in that arc. So there are some open-ended questions, like where Geass come from, right? We could definitely answer that question in the third season. But to your point, though, Lelouch's story is done. Even in the film, Lelouch was saying stuff like, look, guys, I'm not here forever, all right? I'm here for temporarily, and then I'm probably done, okay? Because I realize that this is not about me anymore. It's never been about me. He tells, I think he told Sean, that, the world, it doesn't belong to us. It belongs to them. Which, in my opinion, is a way of interpreting saying, look, I'm here for this film because I love you guys, aka the fans. But let's be honest here. New Code Geass stuff will not include me. Because it's not really about me anymore. Just one crazy man's interpretation. Also, in October, Flo will come back once more on broadcast to do the classic Jibu once more. That's cool. That's really cool. Flo is one of the best bands ever. They have My favorite songs, like anime intros, are obviously Code Geass Intro 1, and also the one they did for Eureka 7, which is called, I keep forgetting the name of it, but it's a really good song. Opening one song name, I forgot what it's called. Uh, yeah, Days. Man, that song is so good. Okay, next question. What anime shows are similar to Death Note and Code Geass? I'm looking for a show that has high quality animation, interesting characters similar to those in Death Note and Code Geass, who use their intellect to outsmart their enemies. Okay, so I'm not gonna look at the list. I'm just write some ideas down. All right, shows similar to Code Geass and Death Note. Code Geass, Double O, Eureka 7 are quite similar. Some say Neon Genesis Evangelion is quite similar. And Guilty Crown, those are pretty good ones. For Death Note, see, I was gonna say Monster, but they're very different. They're very different shows. I know people compare them, but I don't know. I like Baccano. Is Baccano that smart of a show? I mean, it's not. Baccano's kind of a distorted series, but it's got a lot of smart characters. I'm curious to see what some people thought about. Let's see, 91 Days. I've never seen it. Darker than Black. That's not a bad choice. Urahara. Okay. What else we got here? Log Horizon. I've never seen it. And like Code Geass, nothing. There we go. See, that's what I was thinking. There's nothing like it. No Game, No Life. Yeah, we've seen that before. Oh, this is Guilty Crown. That's kind of similar. 12 Kingdoms. That's a very interesting. That's a very interesting comparison. I've watched 12 Kingdoms. I never considered that one. F maybe, probably. That's probably not a bad choice. What else we got here? Parasite the Maxim. Isn't that more of like working together with the parasite to? I don't think I would. I don't think I would call that intelligence in the same way, right? It's still intelligent, but it's not the same kind. Ooh, Psychopath. That's not a bad one actually. Monster. Yeah, Monster's a pretty good choice, although they are quite similar, but the themes, I guess, are close enough. Steins Gate's pretty good. I've never seen Gantz. So, if you want something similar to Code Geass and Death Note, it's kind of hard to find something specifically like about a high school genius in this sort of way. There are shows similar, like the ones I mentioned here. I would add like Double O, for example, is pretty good too. Okay. Next question. Is Lelouch a bad guy or a good guy? Well, that depends. What's your definition of bad and good? No, let's be real here. Okay. I have a whole like video that'll be coming on this topic soon. I haven't gotten around to it. Oh, speaking of videos, the how did Nully survive the Flay Warhead? Like I have most of it already good to go. I finished it like I came up with the whole like plan for it, and I got most of it like prepared. I just have to do some fun editing stuff. But anyhow, is Lelouch from Code Geass a bad guy or a good guy? Well, here's the way I see it. It just depends. Do you think you basically have to answer one question? Does Zero Requiem make up for everything he did? If you say yes, then he's not a bad guy. If you say no, he is a bad guy because he did a lot of messed up stuff when he was before Zero Requiem, right? There was even before the massacre, which was awful. You have the Geass massacre, the Special Administrative Zone Japan massacre. You have Narita's massacre. The way he killed the JLF members was pretty bad, especially the general in Port Yokosuka. The way he treated Guilford, Dalton, I mean, was pretty bad. He did a lot of really messed up stuff, if we're being honest here. So if you think the Zero Requiem erases all that, which is a fair argument, I've seen people make that point, then he's not really a bad guy. If you, however, don't see it that way, then he's probably a bad guy, because those are pretty awful things. Now, some people will say, well, he's an anti-hero because he did awful things, but for a good cause, as opposed to a villain who just does awful things because they're awful. Although you do have villains who do have a good reason for what they're doing, but they're still bad because the reason's either not justified or they're insane or they're you understand where they're coming from, but you don't agree with the approach they're taking. You know, there's a bunch of ways to go about it. My voice is cracking. Awesome. It's really all perspective. Is Lelouch a bad or a good guy? It depends. How you value some of the action he took. Does the end justify the means? Some people say yes. Some people say no. You know, he only really cared about people close to him. If you weren't close to him, he wouldn't care what happens to you. He definitely used people for his own ill-gotten gains. So there's a bunch of things to consider when it comes to Lelouch being a good guy or a bad guy. I'm curious to see what some thoughts there are. So let's see. Neither good nor bad. He's portraying a series, but decisions he makes about a series are not those of a good person. That's fair. That's all I was saying. However, what's the point? He achieved a greater good for everyone. So he was not a good person or a bad person. I consider him one of the most best hero characters. He was a good person at heart, but he did terrible things, which makes him an anti-hero. He didn't write that, by the way. I'm filling in the blanks. But in order to bring the role for Little Sister and everyone he had to see him as a bad person, which is a Zero Requiem. So it depends. I don't think he was always thinking this way, like he had to be seen as a bad person committing evil acts as a mask for his madness. That seemed more like Zero Requiem. Prior to that, he was Zero, but he was Zero like the vigilante, right? Like Batman, anime Batman, if you will. So when he was anime Batman, he was actually trying to be a good person. He kind of fell into corruption too. I mean, it's a complex topic, but I narrow it down to that one question: does Zero Requiem erase his past or not? If it's yes, then he's a good person. Yep, anti-hero is probably the most accepted answer. You can also argue villain too, but most people seem to say it's anti-hero. And again, this is so I like this point here. It all depends on your personal perspective. That's the beauty of Code Geass. Everyone's flawed in their own way. It's leave up to you to decide. I'm gonna upvote that. That's a really good answer. This is a good one. You must know the difference between a hero and an anti-hero. A hero is a person who saves everyone without sacrificing the lives of others to do it. In short, a hero is an ideal superhero we all imagine. Anti-hero is someone who believes in ideals as above all the laws of the world. They're ones willing to go the extra mile, but they do stuff that's obviously not good. So let's look at stuff here. Ooh, we got another discussion here. I'm actually gonna read through this because I'm quite interested. But I'll do this on my own time. I don't want to waste your guys' time with it. But in short, it really depends on. It's not clearly defined. Yeah. So a lot of these opinions are like, well, you know, you take it or leave it, basically. All right. Next question. Is it safe to say that Code Geass is one of the best anime of all time? Yes, it's the best anime ever made. No, you know, it's in my top 10 list. I don't know if I'd put it like in top 5, if I'm being honest here. It's good though. The problem with Code Geass is that R1 is fantastic. R2 has tons of flaws. It was very rushed. In fact, Code Geass and Death Note are quite similar because their first halves were fairly good, although I think Code Geass was better. But their second halves, basically R1 and I guess post L, were not good because they were both rush jobs. With Death Note, I didn't get it because they had the manga to work with, and they just decided to skip it or condense it. But Code Geass, R2 was such a rush job. It's depressing because they could have done so much with it. That's why I love the series, but that's why it's not up there as the best of all time. R2, to me, there's just certain parts that are just not good. It's not even the fan service. I could live with the fan service. That's not even a problem. It's the certain plot elements were just not well developed, and they rushed the whole Ragnarok connection. That could have been such a more interesting, a much more interesting story and part, and they rushed it, and they wasted time with filler episodes too, which I didn't understand. Like they had two school festivals, and they were both wastes of time. I know they want to get like Lelouch closer to Shirley with the Cupid Day, but they could have done that in a much more strategic thought. So that's why I'm like, I thought R2 was a masterpiece. Hey, look, dude, that's fine. It's all opinion, right? A lot of people tell me they love R2. I'm like, that's cool, but I had certain things I wanted, and they didn't give it to me. And I'll look, when I watched R2 when I was 20 years old, 21, I was really, really young. Well, relatively. I loved R2. I thought it was fantastic. The ending always stuck by me, but as I get older and I watched it again, it's more of I don't know, my perspective's changed a little bit. I still enjoy the show, and I still recognize the brilliance of it because there's a lot of parts that are fantastic that I often like rewatch. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even think about that. So I get it. I just wish I spent more time on things that mattered. That's the thing. Can't wait to see these new openings for Code Geass. Maybe it'll hint to openings for Zeta Capture. I really doubt it. Knowing these people, I really doubt that. That'd be great, but I doubt it. Let's see. Any other Code Geass one of the best anime I've ever watched. Got it. Totally safe. It's not the greatest of all time, but it's definitely God tier. I'm 35 years experience with anime. Wow, this guy's old. He's basically a god, yeah. It's good though. Oh, Attack on Titan, by the way, that's another one you can watch too if you like Code Geass. Attack on Titan's a great one. Okay, what's going on here? Code Geass is one of the greatest of all story, character manipulation. Looks like everyone's kind of yeah, people seem to be really liking. Yeah, hell yes. Oh, hell Lelouch, of course. Best ending ever. I can't deny that. It's a pretty good ending. Okay. Next question. Here we go. Where can I watch Code Geass Lelouch of the Resurrection movie online? Good question. You can watch it in two spots. Vudu and Amazon that I know of. And I believe, has anyone mentioned this yet? These people want free sites, but I'll show you guys where you can watch it. If you go to voodoo.com, and by the way, if you don't know what Vudu is, it's a hybrid. You can rent and buy movies, but you can also stream stuff for free. If we type in Code Geass, it should be here, unless I changed it. Here it is. So you can rent the film if you want to watch it here. I don't know what the price is. I'm sure it's not cheap. $3. All right, whatever. Cough it up, guys. $3. You want to watch this film if you want to rent it. So you can watch it in Vudu or Amazon. I think also on certain Netflix subscriptions, like in different areas, regions, you can watch it as well. Code Geass Lelouch of the Resurrection. Now here's the crazy part about this film, right? You can't get this on Blu-ray anymore. Like it's crazy. Look how much that costs. $170. You can't find it. What's funny too is I bought my copy because I just wanted it, for just for funsies because I was like, oh yeah, I need the footage. It was like I think I got it for like $20. I can't believe it's 120 now. They ran out of they must have ran out of product or something. It's really crazy. Absolutely nuts. And you know what's depressing too is when you buy the DVD, let me show you something. Is it in here? I think this is it. I mean, you guys probably know this, but give me a second here. You get these cards in the film, from the film. Where is it? Yeah, you get these. You guys can see, but you get these like images. They're basically in the film. There's just like these still image drawings. You get these like as cards at the end. What if it says Lelouch of the Resurrection? So the point I'm trying to make is that like it's a nice collection to have. I don't know why they limited released it on DVD. And it's not just a regular DVD; it's DVD and Blu-ray, so it's pretty cool. It's depressing because I think people would want to have the DVD. I know we're moving to an age where streaming is everything, but 170. Well, it's out of print. That's why there's no demand. There's no supply. What I was gonna say was if you go out of this, so you can, if you want to watch it, you can rent it or buy it digitally. You cannot get the actual film, which is obnoxious. They always do this crap. I'll give you another example where they messed this up. Look at $116. My God. Wait, what's this? You can buy on Blu-ray? Really? Oh, I guess we have a winner. Is this English? Is this real? I mean, that's a better question. Let's see. This will not play on most Blu-ray players sold in North America, Central America, South America, Japan, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Hong Kong, Southeast Asia. So where would I play this then? In hell? What the heck? What's the point of it then? You can't play it anywhere. Okay. But what's creepy about Code Geass is that there were several collections that were Like they were really cheap, and now you can't get them anymore. Like this was not $180 when it first came out. It was definitely not that expensive. There was a there was an R2 Code Geass collection, complete series. It's like $1 billion now. But when it first came out, it was actually quite cheap. I don't think this is it. No. It was called like it was this, but they had a special version where it had a bunch of collectibles with it. It was extremely expensive. I don't know. I can't find it at the moment. Also, this went up in price. This used to be $35. Looks like they raised the price of it. Well, that's depressing. Is what it is though. It was 35 at one point. I can't find it here, but there was a collection where it had like a bunch of stuff in it. Anyways, point is, if you want to watch Resurrection, you have to rent it, or there's a Netflix. If you change your Netflix VPN or your VPN for Netflix, I think it also shows up there. Funimation will let you watch it if you buy it digitally. There's like a that's how I watch it sometimes. I think you can watch it off here. It's not here. Hold on. Oh, I know how to find it. Right, you got it. The way that Funimation has their site, you have to search it through. Oh, they don't have it. Okay, I thought they had the film should be on here. That's really weird. Okay, whatever. Well, there you go. That's how you find it. You could probably find it legally too. I'm not advocating that, but you do what you got to do. You have to buy a region-free player to use it. Okay, well then there you go. Buy a region-free player to use it, and there you go. $25, and you can watch the film or own it. But I don't think you'll get those cool extras. So, take it or leave it. But yeah, the original collection, man, it spiked in price. Absolutely insane. I could check one more site. Just curious. Is it expensive here too? Lelouch of the here we go. Oh my god. $200. Not the steelbook, just the wow. $500. What? $500. Unbelievable. Guys, this might be more valuable than Tesla. I'm just kidding, but like a share of Tesla, I should say. That is crazy. $500? If you guys have seen the movie Castle, tell me it's dreaming. Because there's no way $500. No way. Garbage. These people are absolutely out of their mind. $500. I should have bought 50 of them when they were like 30 something. Oh my god. Okay. Let's move on to the next question. Any more comments here? Code Geass is on Netflix, but the movie isn't. I thought it was if you changed your settings. Here, let's check that real quick. Why not? Let's Google more stuff because why not? Code Geass, Lelouch of the Resurrection, Netflix. I thought it was on Netflix. Yeah, see, you could stream on Netflix India from July 3rd. So you totally can, but you gotta change your VPN. That's what I thought. Okay. You change your VPN, you can totally watch it. All right. Next question. Is Code Geass worth watching? No, don't watch it. It's bad for you. All right, next question. I'm just kidding. Of course it's worth watching. It's a very interesting story. It's got a lot of deep themes into it. Good animation, good characters. If you like Nightmare Frame mecha stuff, you have that. If you like more of the crazy Neon Genesis Evangelion mind stuff, you have that. You got like the best waifu of all time, C2. It's totally worth watching. Lelouch is a very interesting character in his own right, and the characters that surround him are good too. Definitely worth watching. I would say at least give it a shot. And if you don't like it, obviously, don't continue it. But I think it's worth at least checking out. If you can handle the fan service. Some people may not like that. What girl in Code Geass does Lelouch love the most? Well, if you guys are subscribed to this channel, you probably already know my answer to this question because I literally made a video on it. And that video has 80,000 views. So that's what got me the channel to where it is today, which is kind of cool. I never would have expected that. So you guys know where I stand on this, but basically he loves C2 the most. That's it. I'm not going through the analysis. I've done like so much on it. It's C2. That's it. At the end of the day, that's who I believe he had the most caring towards. If he never got Geass power and none of this stuff ever happened, he probably would have been with Shirley because he never would have met C2. But no, it's C2. Not to say he didn't like anyone else, but who he loved the most, and that would be C2. Oh, look at this. The next question, which I answered recently. I made a whole video on this too, by the way. Video and article. What's the order of Code Geass should be watched? And let's see. So the correct viewing order is R1, Akito, R2. Yeah, that's correct. That would be the first. If you want to watch like the original stuff, yeah, R1, Akito, R2, the recap films, and then you watch Nothing in Wonderland. If you want to watch the picture dramas and audio dramas, then it's R1, picture dramas, audio dramas, Akito Exiled, R2, picture dramas, audio dramas, the recap films, the old recap films, then the OVA Nothing in Wonderland, and there's a bunch of other ones too. You can do that. And when we're done with that, then you could read, what's it called? Read Reign of Darkness, read Oz the Reflection, and then you watch the new films, which is Initiation, Transgression, Glorification, Lelouch of the Resurrection, and then Zither Capture when that comes out. That is the official watch order / read order if you want to go through every anime thing you have available for Code Geass. But good luck finding the one for good luck finding audio dramas for R2 because they're a pain in the butt, and they're also not canon, so you don't really need the information anyhow. So that's that. Some people say you should watch Akito after R2 because there's one spoiler, but I don't consider that a spoiler, and that's where you meet Pure arguing that because Suzaku talks to Rollo in the end of the Akito Exile, therefore it spoiled R2. How? R2 starts with Rollo as well. I mean, we knew they were all working together. It's not really a mystery, so I didn't quite get that one. So there is that. Okay. R1 and R2. Well said. The real question is Lelouch in love with Suzaku? They're bros, you know, it's a brother relationship. I wouldn't say anything beyond that. I know some people have suggested that. I don't agree, but that's fine. What are good animes like Code Geass? I think we answered this one already, right? We answered this because we were at where was it? Here. Okay, we were answered that one. What's a dud? Someone marked as a duplicate and kicked this guy off this website. Okay, next question. Which anime is better, Death Note or Code Geass? Code Geass. And which anime is better, Code Geass or Attack on Titan? Code Geass. Is Code Geass for kids? Absolutely. Even oh my god, this scene. Can I even show this on a stream? All right. I want to this scene right here with Kyle in the shower. You see how it's I don't want to laugh like 5 years old. The steam is removed. So when they first made this anime, when they first made Code Geass, they actually covered that scene up with steam, and then in the Blu-ray version, they they removed it because they had to show all counts. I don't know why I'm laughing. It's not funny, but like basically what this person is saying is that I'm actually showing nude. I'm not sure how to do that on stream. This is probably get flagged. I didn't know this would happen, but basically, what they're saying is because there's so much fan service in Code Geass, it's not for children. Oh, okay, all right, that's it. I'm sorry, I'm going out. My bad. All right, I shouldn't have shown that. I did not know we were going to do this territory. I might remove it from the video or blur it out or something if I can do that. That is an apology. I did not know. Legitimately, I did not know it was going to show that. Sorry about people. We got a little R-rated in the stream, not intentional. The point they're trying to make is that this is not for children. It's basically porn. Oh, it's not funny. Oh my god. I will follow up with the following. The reason why you can't Code Geass is not for children is not because of the pornographic nature. The reason why it's not for children is because of the dark themes, with the drug addiction, with refrain, the massive violence. I mean, one thing about R1 I noted when I watched it again, about a couple years ago, was that there's so much death in every scene, especially during the early part of the Shinjuku Ghetto and the Saitama Ghetto. When I was making the Code Geass death count, it was very apparent on how disgusting the Britannian military was towards the Japanese people. They were killing children. That's why kids shouldn't watch Code Geass, because there's so much death, especially to kids and of course adults, and blood, and it's quite dark and disturbing. You know, even I was like watching like, oh, this is awful. The pornographic elements they're not good either. Don't get me wrong. I wouldn't even call it pornographic. The person took all the fan service in one little tidbit there, which is fine. But what I would say is that the content even without the fan service is not appropriate for children. And also, funny enough, who asked this question? They must be a troll, because there's no way someone actually asked this and legitimately asked this question. Is Code Geass anime English dubbed yet? This was asked in 2021. Dude, it was dubbed in 2006. What? Seriously? I don't understand this. Is the Code Geass anime English dubbed yet? Are you talking about the film? The film was also like released around the same time the sub was. It was maybe a month earlier, if I'm not mistaken. That's a weird question. I don't know. Next question. What is Code Geass' legacy? Well, that depends. The ending is probably the legacy I would pick for it. The idea that Lelouch died for all our sins, just like Jesus. And when he died, by the way, he was doing this because he laid on the pavement like a cross, or like a cross. So the legacy is probably that. I think when most people talk about Code Geass, even people who didn't like the show, they all say the following. It was the fact that Lelouch, the Zero Requiem, is probably Code Geass' legacy. The other legacy is probably the fan service, or if people hate the show, then all the contrivances. Right? Contrivances. And I guess Lelouch's character, but it's definitely Zero Requiem. That would be my, yeah, see, it's really the ending. That's how I would say that the legacy is. And if he died at the end or not. That's everyone speculates, so. There's that. Will there be Code Geass 3? Probably not. Would Code Geass be a great Hollywood movie? I guess, if they had the right cast. I don't know who would play Lelouch, though, who is American, or even Japanese. I'm not sure who you'd pick. Although he is American, though, right? Because he's Britannian, so it's close enough. You gotta get a Britannian actor. A Britannian actor. Yes, because Britannia exists. I mean an American actor. Is Code Geass season 2 worth watching? I see this a lot where people ask, like, should I watch season 2 of the show I'm currently checking out? I mean, if you enjoyed the first season, just go finish it. I don't know what the problem is. Are there people out there who like didn't like the first season of a show and okay, I'm asking a dumb question because there are people like that. Heck, I'm like that. But with Code Geass, though, I mean, you don't get the full experience that you watch the second season. I'm not sure why you wouldn't want to watch it. That's kind of weird. All right. Next question. How does Lelouch from Code Geass think? You mean his philosophy? Basically, and justify the... Yeah, I agree. And justify the means. Those who kill should be prepared to be killed. That's probably it, honestly. He has to become a greater evil to destroy evil. That's his philosophy. Should I watch Hunter x Hunter or Code Geass? Watch Code Geass. In your opinion, the Attack on Titan... Okay, you're not reading that one. Spoilers. Should I watch Code Geass? We definitely answered that one already. Oh my god, we got another one of these questions. Is Code Geass for 13 to 14-year-olds? I know someone who's around the age I watched the show for the first time, and they seem to be okay. I watched it when I was 7. Wow. When I was 7. Hee hee. Big eyes. The picture's Winry. No wonder. A former Reaper at the Soul Society. Wow. Who's this person? How long have I been doing this for? The person joined in 2020, and they've already had like, wow. Oh my god, this meme is savage as heck. Um, I would say if you're gonna watch Code Geass, like at least 15, I would think. It was made for teenagers, so I think a teenager should be able to watch it. How is anime Code Geass? How is the anime Code Geass? Is it good? We already said the one. How old is C2 from Code Geass? She's 700, I believe, because she knew the people of the Revolutionary War. I believe she is 700 years old. 1,000 years? I thought she was 700. I thought it was more, yeah, this area. But apparently she's 1,000 years old? Wow. I thought she was 700. She's pretty old though. Let's just face it much. She's pretty old. Um, who's hotter, Asuka or C2? Oh, C2. Asuka's not hot. She's not. I mean, like, she's really annoying. Not because she has Sundara, just because she's annoying in general. Like, ugh. No, definitely not. I mean, definitely, at least from an emotional point of view. My God, Asuka was no. Get C2. The person put like 4 photos of her. What do you think? Which show is written better, Code Geass or DBZ? I can't ask this question again. Okay, sorry. Which is better, Code Geass or DBZ, or written better? That's a tough one. I would probably say Code Geass. Although DBZ isn't actually, DBZ is a pretty well written show. I know some people don't like the whole like power creep with the characters, which I do agree is a problem, but like the whole like Gohan growing up and Bulma growing up and marrying Vegeta and their family to get their life together. Each villain, even though there are some copycat elements because they steal other people's powers to get their own, they're still interesting. Like I thought Cell was a great villain. The androids were interesting. I liked Boo's character. And of course Frieza. So and Frieza is one of the greatest villains of all time. So that's hard to say. That's a really hard question. At least DBZ had a pretty clear structure. Although that last season though, questions I just don't know. I read some comments and I gotta change my battery. Let's see what we got here. Code Geass would make a great Hollywood movie. I'd actually written 2 amateur scripts for it. I'm sure they're better than most stuff you get nowadays. I mean, what was that movie that came out recently for Black Widow? I heard it was terrible. So I'm sure yours is probably better. I started watching Code Geass when I was 18, but I first heard about it when I was 13. For me, I heard about it when I was 19. I watched it when I was 20, I believe. It's been a while. I'm kind of an old man now. Just an old man watching anime. What else is new? DBZ is a fun action show, but in my opinion, Code Geass's writing is better. Well, here's the thing. When you say better writing, I mean, are we talking about like this the way the fights were contrived and how they occurred, or are we talking about like I don't know, like the overall plot? I mean, because the thing about Code Geass and DBZ, which is a strange comparison because they're very different shows, but DBZ is more of a character-driven story, and Code Geass is a plot-driven story. Because DBZ, it's just about Goku trying to become the best fighter in the world, and he fights villains who come across his way and threaten Earth. And yes, he is defending Earth, but that's not like the main goal of DBZ. There's no real end game for DBZ. Goku will keep training until he actually, I guess, there's no one left to fight. Where Code Geass, the goal is to destroy Britannia, get revenge for his mother's death, and make a world, a nice world for Nunnally. So when you compare the two stories, they're very different in that regard. Now, when it comes to DBZ, the fighting situations, I thought were well written. Again, I liked the 3 villains, and I wanted Goku to kill all of them. So that's how you know they were well written. We hated. I'm talking about the plot and character development. Okay, I think DBZ does abandon certain characters, which I'll get to in a second. But first, I gotta change my battery. I will be right back. Hey, we should be back now. Okay. Next comment. Even now, Goku stands to be his Troy universe. Well, you could argue in Dragon Ball Super he was actually the villain because he was he caused the whole torment of power to begin with. But again, comparing the two stories, it's very different because in one end you have a story where it's a character-driven narrative where character development is important, but not the most important element. Where Code Geass, a lot of it is development. That's very true, especially for C2, Lelouch, Colin, Suzaku, for sure. If you're judging it based on development, then yeah. Now, the person says that Code Geass is way more complex than DBZ, which is fine, but doesn't mean it's better written. Complexity in a story doesn't always mean better, right? That's a very debatable topic. Like, here, I'll give an example. Neon Genesis Evangelion is a far more complex story than, say, Code Geass. Does that mean it's better written? No, it doesn't mean that at all. Because Neon Genesis Evangelion, as much as I did enjoy it for what it was, I wouldn't say it was better. It was a better told story than Code Geass. Especially when you need like 3 films to discuss how it ends. But so I wouldn't say complexity is a barometer for better. Because even though DBZ is a classic show, it's pretty tight. Like the story is well written. The characters are very interesting, except for well, for most part, interesting. And you are invested in the story. You want Goku to defeat these characters. You're invested in these fights. There's, it's the reason why it's a good shonen. It's a good shonen for that reason. But I think when they're asking what show is written better, I think they're referring to the a more complex plot-driven story, because on that level, then Code Geass is better. It's not exactly a clear-cut answer, though. I think Code Geass could work as a film franchise if they don't try adapting the entire season to one film, like they did with Last Airbender, which is a guilty pleasure of mine. God, that film was so bad. All right. Next question. Hopefully we don't get more pornography stuff, which again I apologize for. Is it worth watching the new soft reboot? Soft reboot. They must be the new films. When was this written? I don't know when it's written. The recap films, they say no point. I agree and disagree. There's new scenes which are great. But in the grand in the context or in the grand scheme of Resurrection, the only thing you have to watch in the new films is what Shirley is doing and the new scenes, because Shirley has a big involvement in this new universe. So you got to watch that in the films to understand like how we got from point A to point B. Because some people are like, how did Shirley live and how did she come back to life? Guys, just watch the films. They'll tell you. Or go online and find all the new scenes. They tell you why. That's the kind of frustrating I have about this whole thing. I was like, why is Shirley alive? It's a different universe, guys. It's a different universe. Is Code Geass for kids? I crap you not. We've had 2 questions now about this. If Code Geass is for children. I'm starting to question everything now. Same person, by the way? Amelia Gray. And who asked it this time? Anime debate. Are you serious? How is it for children? That's so weird. No. Does anyone defend this? Hold on. I want to open a new tab. New tab. It's not letting me do that. Oh, okay. I guess you. Okay. Oh my, no. Yes. Absolutely not. Not for children. Why would ask these questions? Is it appropriate for teenagers? Yeah, that's fine. Teenagers can watch it. Are Death Note and Code at the same level? If you guys want, I'll do a video response to this. I haven't. Maybe in a couple weeks we'll do this video. It's I think it's still out there. Let's see. Watch Mojo. Oh, that looks familiar. Watch Mojo, and it's called Death Note versus Code Geass. Here it is. We can go over this video at some point in the future because I want to talk about it. Because it's actually a pretty interesting topic. I haven't watched it also in several years, so I have no idea what they discussed today. So we will definitely go over that video. But anywho, um, oh, here's a good question. This is actually a good question. Some of these questions are just absolutely ridiculous. But here's a good one. Is Lucifer Resurrection 2019 a sequel of R2? No, it is not. It's a sequel of The Glorification. First answer that question right there. What is your opinion of Lelouch of the Resurrection? I think it is a wait. No, this is a Lucifer Rebellion. My bad. That's the Japanese. I don't know why I said that. No, that's Rebellion. It's good. Good quotes, I guess. Why did Lelouch fight for Japan instead of the UK? Oh, he means EU, probably. Well, he wasn't in the EU, so that could have been the reason. That's probably his convenience, if I had to guess. If he was in the EU, he probably would have used them instead. Because the EU didn't even, the Euro-Britannians were fighting against the Britannians, so he could have helped them out too. It was convenience. That'd be my guess. Of course, later on, they all do unite, right, when they make the UFN. So, well, let's see the reasons here. Lelouch believed in equality. Lelouch didn't see race or try to individuals. Plus, those of color saved Lelouch and Ollie's life. Did they really, though? Because weren't they gonna marry off his not only to what's his name? Suzaku's father, Genbu? I don't know about that. Maybe I'm not understanding this question. Instead of the UK. Yeah, maybe I don't understand this question. What anime which anime is a mind twister? Code Geass or Death Note? Oh, this is funny. I would say probably Death Note to understand the complexity of the plot, and Code Geass to make sense of similar aspects to it. Who's hotter? Kiba or Colin? Please, normal photos. What is this from? Fire Force. I haven't seen Fire Force, so I don't know. I'm sure most people are probably gonna say her though. Although Colin's hot though. She's pretty, but she could step on me. Ugh. Um. Right, we can go through a few more questions here. I saw the Watch Moto video and disagreed with it. Okay, that's good to know. We'll go over it at some point. Was the Code Geass movie canon? Was the movie at the end of the series, or was the movie the end of the series? Oh, this film. This is a glorification. Was this the alternative universe? Or are they talking about those recap films? I'm guessing it's this. It is canon and it's different universe. Okay. Is Code Geass anime dubbed yet? What? Why are people still asking this? Is Code Geass set in the future of modern times? It's set in 2017. Okay. What Yu-Gi-Oh deck would Lelouch use from Code Geass? Okay. Lelouch would use this deck. It's not a good deck, but because it's related to his skill set, he would use this is like way old school, Taroking Archfiend. It was never a competitive deck, but they made this whole archetype based off the chess pieces. So you have Taroking Archfiend, you have let's see. Yeah, the Archfiend. But it's the thought, it's the pieces. So probably Archfiends. Because Archfiends have a lot of strategic minds to them. So that Dark Worlds maybe. Something like that. Or perhaps no, he would use, I got it. Lelouch would use the Fallen Angels. And with a new structure coming out, the where is it? This one. Our Sanctuary. He could actually play Fallen Angels. That's probably the deck he would play anyway. That's what Lelouch is, a Fallen Angel. Him and Suzaku. We got way the rails here, but yes. Okay. We'll do a couple more questions. Can Godzilla solo the Code Geass universe? Oh, they got the Flea. Alright. Without the Flea, maybe. But the Gurren sleeping elements is pretty powerful. I would say Flea, no. Without the Flea, yes. He could probably solo the whole thing. But then again, they have like Nightmare frames. Would Geass work on Godzilla? I don't know. Can Zero from Code Geass take over the whole world if he was brought here? Like into our world? Is that what they're asking? I don't know. Sure, why not? Big Geass, we don't listen to him. What life lesson did you learn from Code Geass Lelouch of the Resurrection? Oh, here's a good one. If you don't succeed, try again. Oh, this one. You always get second chance in life. And oh, another one too. This actually is kind of important. Don't take people in your life for granted because they may not be here much longer. That's a good one too, I think. All right. Will there be a season 3 or another Code Geass film? Right now, season 3. Is it possible to get the free episodes dubbed? Yes, there is. Guys, if you go to the library, you might have it there. What are your thoughts on the Black Knights betraying Zero and Lelouch? Justified, but horribly handled. That's how I would say it. In other words, given that he was dishonest with them, given that they were justified in betraying him because of the fact Lelouch did some awful things, including killing the general, and hiding the fact he had Geass power and his identity as a Britannian youth, was not great. So there was a lot of dishonest, and also the Geass massacre that also turned people away from him. So that's why I say it was justified, but it wasn't handled well because they shouldn't have just agreed with Schneizel either, and they shouldn't try to kill him. That was very extreme. They should have just talked to him afterwards. They should have told Schneizel, look, let's talk to Lelouch first, figure this out, and then we'll hand him over or something. It was too quick. They should spend more time on it. That's my thought. So, justified but horribly handled. Wow, a lot of English dub questions. My God. Guys, it was dubbed in like... Wow. Is Lelouch from Code Geass a pessimist? You know what? He's actually an optimist. This is funny. He's actually an optimist, not a realist. He's an optimist. He said that Optimus Prime. No, he's an optimist because he said the future belongs to the people, and as long as they have the future in their hands, they'll fix the world and stuff. Because Schneizel was a pessimist, because he was saying, no, look, people want to be controlled. I'm going to control them. That's what they really want. There will be no growth in society, but hey, no growth, everyone's safe. Lelouch said, no, people will improve the world. I believe it. That's optimism. He was a realist on some level, yes. I would say during most of Code Geass, he always was like, you have to do things that are awful to achieve your goals. He kept telling, like, Suzaku, ideals alone can't change the world. So he was realistic in that point of view. But when it came to the whole Zero Requiem, he was an optimist. And I think in the end of the day, he really wanted the world to be a better place, and he think people could do it in their hands, not his own. So he's definitely not a pessimist. He is an optimist realist. Is that even a thing? I don't know. It's like introvert extrovert. Well, see, I agree with this. I disagree with this person because it's not odd. That was his. He always kind of believed that. That's disagree with that. Which is better, Code Geass or Fate Zero? Code Geass. No, I'm just kidding. Fate Zero is better. No, oh, that's hard. Very hard. When's it coming out? 2022, as I said before. Okay, we know there come more. What's the order to watch the films? It's Initiation, Transgression, Glorification. Not. Which anime is similar to 1 Ounce, Death Note, and Code Geass? Is 1 Ounce like Death Note or Code Geass? I don't know. I think good questions here. These are all kind of silly. Who's smarter, Goku, or Lelouch, or Senku? I haven't seen Dr. Stone. Oh, here we go. We'll end with this one. Who do you hate more, Nina or Suzaku? Since I had to pick one, okay, it's probably Nina, because at least Suzaku had somewhat legitimate reasons for why he was doing what he was doing. Nina was just racist, and at some points, very crazy, especially when she lost it when Yuffie died. But she had a lot of self-esteem problems, and definitely she wasn't emotionally stable, which is why that happened. I'm not saying it justifies anything, just pointing out the situation. But I definitely hate Nina more. I didn't really hate Suzaku that much. That's the thing. Like, who do you hate more? Didn't hate either character, but I definitely Nina probably over Suzaku in terms of mostly that I hated more. Because while Suzaku is a nuisance to Lelouch, right? Nina was just at some points not tolerable, but I understood her character. That's why I didn't care so much. But if I had to pick one, probably would pick that one. All right, there's some comments, and then we're gonna wrap this up. Okay. I saw the watch vid, disagreed with it. Okay, I think I read that one already. The Black Knights should have continued supporting Zero until he saved Japan. Yeah, but they weren't happy with some stuff he did, which is, again, what they did was, it was justified. It just wasn't handled well. By betraying Zero, the Black Knights threw away their best chance at saving their country, and so they were foolish enough to hear Schneisel out. I mean, Schneisel played them too. They figured to get their country back, so fair trade. But also, you're right. I love Suzaku, and I had mixed feelings on Nina. Well, that's rare to most people, because most people seem to hate Nina, because apparently she's the most evil, worst character in Code Geass, even though I've already argued to death that that's not even close. No matter how you look at it, it's not even close. So the worst character in Code Geass is Bradley. That's the worst character because he had none, and that's what I gotta say with that. Okay, we've been at it for what, almost 2.5 hours. Yeah, we're gonna end it here. Okay, so this week the goal is to get out the video for Nullies for the Flay Warhead. I basically have it finished, and then I got the article version of Lelouch versus Light. Who is the superior intelligence? Who has superior intelligence? So that's what's coming up this week, probably Thursday. This could be a very busy week. So Thursday is what I'm shooting for. But anyhow, guys, thanks for tuning in, and have a good week. And we'll see about next week if we have a stream or not. But if we do, it would be Sunday next week or the week after that, depending what happens. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. Have a good week, guys. Peace.